You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your coach Jason.
Coach Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. Before we get into it, though, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and like, go ahead and subscribe. Let the algorithm. Danny, we're going to have a little NBA draft talk, free agency, Major League Baseball, and something in Formula One. But first, Danny, right into the NBA draft, and where last week the NBA had a new format in the NBA draft, and where it was actually two nights, Wednesday and Thursday night. First round Wednesday, second round Thursday. And let me just say, Danny, this format was interesting. I did see a lot of the second rounders being present, and that was kind of cool. That way they can celebrate with their families on their journey to the draft. So that part was cool. I think the thing that NBA needs to improve upon, when the players get announced where they're going, it's not necessarily final in where they're going to land. And so even though they get a hat for one team that drafted them, in all reality, they're going to another team. And so, it would be good for them to wait until that part is finalized so that way they can get the right hat. We knew number one was going to be Cooper Flag.
Mm-hmm.
It went as such. Number one, Cooper Flag. Dylan Harper goes to San Antonio Spurs, and VJ Edgecombe goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to tell you, Danny, in looking at the highlights of Edgecombe, Philly going to be tough if they can stay healthy, man.
Mm-hmm.
In this wide open East, anything can happen. If I'm Joel Embiid watching what happened in the finals, watching Jason Tatum go down, watching Damian Lillard go down, I'm going to be in the gym all summer, getting healthy, getting my body right, just getting ready for this season, man, because if there's ever an opportunity to take advantage to get to at least the conference finals, now's the time. So the Eastern Conference is wide open. I think there's going to be some players in this draft that's going to be very pivotal here for a team, whether it's bench work or otherwise. I think you got some nice young pieces here that's going to prove to be very valuable. So just an interesting draft all the way around. We'll get into the Milwaukee Bucks here later, Danny, but what say you overall about the NBA draft?
The two nights, it was predominantly the first night where the younger guys, so like the 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and then the second night was more of the 22, 23, your seasoned veterans in the college game, if you want to call it that, so your juniors, seniors. I think a couple things. One, on the hat situation, they already know who's going where. That's the crazy part about this.
Mm-hmm.
They're announcing it live on TV. Everybody knows, man. Just take care of the situation before they even walk up, and then it's done. And then two, I think they can shorten the nights. Mm-hmm. So that first night they started pre-draft coverage at 6 or 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Mm-hmm. And then the actual draft went for almost 4 hours in duration that first night. There was a lot of pomp and circumstance between the picks. Mm-hmm. So I think they can speed that up, man, because that's a long night. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're on the East Coast, it's almost midnight. So I think that was one of the things I would say from the overall perspective of it. They just need to speed it up. And then as far as the draft picks were concerned in the first round and second round, there weren't too many crazy surprises. I think Derek Queen, that whole deal with the Hawks and the Pelicans, I was curious about because Zion is still in New Orleans. And does this mean that Zion maybe getting traded, but who's taking on Zion's contract? Then you have the Brooklyn situation where they had 5 first-round picks and didn't trade any of them. So they're on the books for all those picks, like salary wise. Kind of what you expected. It wasn't anything crazy that happened
Yeah.
on the draft nights. I'll call it that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it was good to see the second night, not only the guys being in the room, but just seeing some of those guys get picked, and
Yeah.
even some of the guys that even didn't get picked. It's like we'll talk about the Bucks in a minute, but Sears,
Hmm.
he had a great college, collegiate career, and he didn't even get picked. So he got the free agent pickup. Uh,
Hmm.
so there's always some of that, but this year was like more than usual.
Yeah, I think one of the things I found interesting in that first round was just the fact of, like you mentioned before, you have a lot of freshmen coming into the league. They're born here in the States
Hmm.
predominantly, so or they've had college experiences here. I think last year and the year before, we saw a lot of draft picks coming from France, especially. I mean, there were a couple from France this year, and everything. So France is running deep in the NBA right now. But uh, it was interesting to see the first round kind of going that way, and then the second round you started to see even more global players coming into the league by draft. So we'll see, man. I just think, when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks apparent philosophy has been let's just draft and stash. And
Yep.
the draft pick that the Bucks get, the number 17th pick in the second round, the 47th pick overall, is from Serbia, Markovic. He is extremely tall, can shoot lights out, it seems like. He's a shooter. We're talking about he's about on paper here about 6'11". Seems to be taller than that, quite frankly. I don't know, man. He's not going to play immediately. It's going to be some development on that side, but it's going to be basically draft and stash. And
Hmm.
in our thread, Danny, I said, man, this philosophy seems to never work. Basically, we have the rights to him. So any event that he wants to come back into the NBA, we have first rights to
Hmm.
him, his services. I mean, this was, I wouldn't say a wasted pick, but it's hard to do something in the second round. I also would want to fail fast and not draft and stash.
Hmm.
I want to know what my player can, provide in the second round, whether it's in a G League, Summer League. I'll
Hmm.
be able to, figure that out through those means. And then ultimately, we'll be able to, make better decisions accordingly. But I wouldn't draft a stash at this juncture, man. I think there were some other opportunities that the Bucks could have made here to get a quality player, use right now, and then ultimately make that decision. So I don't know what the Bucks are doing. I think they're waiting for free agency. We heard that Bobby Portis is going to re-sign here. I think he's on like what a 3-year contract for $44 million, which is a very, very safe contract for the Milwaukee Bucks. Great contract, if you will, for Bobby Portis. Um, and to me, that says a lot. It keeps Giannis here, I believe.
Hmm.
Pat Connaughton, he opts in to his deal at $9+ million. There are some reports indicating that that Bucks are looking to trade him. That would be interesting. I think with him opting in, this is the last year of his contract. It makes him a little bit more attractive to move on
Hmm.
from. We'll see, Danny.
So I think a lot of eyes are actually on Milwaukee,
Hmm.
to see what they do and if they do anything drastic or do they just kind of hang tight and run it back with Giannis and more or less the roster from last year, minus Dame being out with the Achilles and uh, probably minus Brook Lopez. In the draft this year, man, not having a first round pick really hurt the Bucks, especially in
Oh,
the situation they're in.
big
To
time.
get a talented player under a rookie contract, that's friendly for their pocketbooks. That they're void of that now for the foreseeable future. So that was another glaring item here with them not having that first round pick. That this draft, especially, I think they could have made a nice improvement on the bench with a younger player.
Yeah, Bucks could have done so much here, man. So let's just think this through, Danny. So looking at who the Bucks have drafted over the past few years here, right? So we're talking about AJ Johnson drafted last year. Tyler Smith drafted last year.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Livingston out of Kentucky drafted in 2023, second round. In 2022, Marjon Beauchamp, which is no longer with the team. Isaiah Todd in 2021. RJ Hampton in 2020. Jordan Nora in 2020, second rounder.
Mm-hmm.
He got a championship ring.
Yeah.
He had some run with us. 2019, Kevin Porter out of USC, and then 2018, Dante DiVincenzo.
Mm-hmm.
2017, you had your DJ Wilson, Sindarius Thornwell, who was more so actually with the Los Angeles Clippers. 2016, you had your boy Thon Maker,
Good old Thon.
Malcolm Brogdon, and Patrick McCall. Here's my point in going down this list, Danny. We haven't had a good pick in quite some time. Dante DiVincenzo was the last one, in my opinion, that really provided some oomph.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Nora, he helped out quite a bit here off the bench. Dante was a starter at times. Good role player overall, good defense. Had the injury in the playoffs in our championship run. Still got a ring though. The one that I think that kind of hurts me more so is the Beauchamp one, man. I think that was just a total missed opportunity. So my point in going down this list, man, our development sucks. So whoever is like the development team, core team, the assistant coaches, whatever, they suck, man. Let's just be real. And you can clip that, roll it, whatever. Even if it was the second round pick, you should have been able to develop
Yeah.
to make them a halfway decent for trade possibilities. In this offseason, to me, if there's any changes that needed to be made on the Milwaukee Bucks team, is the development team.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can immediately get better. Giannis is watching this just like we are. And come 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on today, we'll see what happens. Just with that, man, there's a whole lot more going on in the free agent world here come 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I mean, there's some news here about LeBron opting in. DeAndre Ayton, he's looking to become a free agent after a buyout. Big question is going to be about Brook Lopez. I think the Lakers are going to be in the market for a big man, so that's going to be interesting. You have Smith from the Houston Rockets, who's going to sign a $122 million extension off the rookie deal. So, man, this is a whole lot happening in free agency, man. You had the trades of Porzingis going from the Celtics to the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Hawks are going to be tough. They're going for it, man. I think the Hawks are going to be tough, even based upon the draft picks that they made. So, look out for the Hawks. The Pacers, there's some questions about Miles Turner. I'm hearing some reports about him possibly going to Houston. And now, Danny, on to the Major League Baseball, where we're coming up close to All-Star break, and Let me just say that the Milwaukee Brewers are starting to make a run here. Starting to make a run. He's starting to get a little healthy. Starting to get some pitching. And they are right now 2 games behind the Chicago Cubs. I remember seeing as many games as about 6 or 7 games behind the Cubs at one point. So Brewers are making a run here. It took them a little bit longer than usual. The Cubs had a hot start. Cubs had a tough schedule to start off with, first of all, and they did very, very well in that start. And so the Brewers' bats are starting to come alive, and the arms are starting to throw some fire. So, Danny, what say you about the Brewers?
They just had a series with the Rockies this past weekend, which they lost the game yesterday. It was one of those games, man, that come back and bite you in the end because you shouldn't lose to the Rockies. The way they dominated in the first 2 games too, and they go to extra innings yesterday. But Priester, Chad Patrick, those guys have stepped up on the pitching side, and then Churio and Yelich has been hitting. Uh, Ortiz has been hitting, so they're starting to get their bat. I still think they need a bat to add to
I
the
agree.
to the
I agree.
lineup there because their pitching is doing what they need to do, man. It's their bats, man. They're just so up and down. They're starting to get a little bit going here, but they still need a bat.
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
Cubs slowing them down a little bit has helped because they were
Hmm.
torrid on a torrid pace starting the season.
Man.
With Kyle Tucker, as their big free agent signing,
Hmm. Hmm.
that lineup is dangerous. But I think
Hmm.
the Cubs can be had because their arms are a little, they're not as solid as I think as the Brewers. So this is where they need the bat to help them, going down the stretch. Don't forget about the Cardinals, man. The Cardinals are
Yeah.
just sitting there a half game behind
Yep.
the
Exactly.
Brewers. Actually, the Reds are starting to pick it up too because they start off slow. So
Well,
they're getting going too right now.
I'm gonna tell you, Danny, getting this calling up Mizorowski for the Brewers. Man, have you
Mhm.
seen his arm?
Hey, man, he put on a display last week against Skeens.
He sure did. I was
Yes,
just
he
about to bring
did.
that up with the Pirates. Hey man, we got something. We got something, man.
Yep.
I,
So,
I mean, he is. You talking about somebody throwing fire, some heat missiles, man. He is throwing heat missiles left and right.
and I like how they're managing his arm, Jason,
Yeah.
where they're not giving him too because he throws so hard. You
Hmm.
don't want anything crazy happening. So limit his outings, especially as he's starting to get going. So I totally agree with that.
And so, Danny, as we're on baseball here, man, we gotta say rest in peace, final farewell to Dave Parker, who is a Hall of Famer, who passed away at the age of 74, and he's played with so many different teams, man. A lot of people are going to remember him playing with the Pittsburgh Pirates and ultimately winning a World Series ring there. I remember him more so with the Oakland Athletics, man, in that team and where an amazing team, man. And Dave Parker, he did play 19 seasons in Major League Baseball. Says here that he had a long battle with Parkinson's disease. This is off of MLB's web page. And again, he was 74. What say you, Danny, about the late great Dave Parker?
Jason, he was such an intimidating dude at the plate,
Yes.
and he had some pop. If you're even at the towards the end of his career, he can still knock it out the park. Just looking at some of the stories over the weekend after he passed, and just knowing how great of a player he was, and
Hmm.
how long he actually, he was supposed to go into the Hall of Fame next month,
Hmm.
and for him to pass before he was inducted, but at least he knew, before he passed, he was going to the Hall of Fame. But he was well deserved, man. He had a great career, and it was just one of those guys, man. I just remember back being, younger, just remember him playing once I heard the news. Just want to say rest in peace to the Cobra, as they called him. can't wait to see the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and how they honor him.
And Danny, one other piece of news here with regards to Formula One. Formula One, man, they had a Grand Prix in Austria this past weekend. McLaren's out in front. Ferrari with Charles Leclerc coming in third. Lando Norris coming in first, followed by Oscar Piastri. So Sir Lewis Hamilton comes in fourth. Ferrari kind of, they did up their game up a little bit here with some upgrades, and it proved and it showed. Max Verstappen in the very first turn got hit by Kimi from Mercedes, basically pulling those two out of the race, Austria Grand Prix. And so just as we're talking about Formula One, man, the big event for Formula One happened. It happened, man. Formula One movie came out. And let me just say, Danny, I went to go see this. I got my own movie review on this real quickly. So this movie is for Formula One fans, novices, passerbyers, cinematic fans, moviegoers. Whether you're new, seasoned, whatever the case may be, this is a very good movie. This movie is a reason to come back to the movie theaters. I definitely recommend IMAX. F1 is a team sport, and you will see that at the core in this exhilarating movie. One thing people have to realize is that this is a global impact. This is a global sport. From the economics and building a track, small businesses around the track or in the city, hotel, concessions, travel industry, you name it. Formula One can impact those pieces. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of fans in attendance throughout race weekend. Regardless of the team dynamics, striving for the goal of winning can be contagious. It can be fed and can feed your soul. And the fact that the popularity of this sport is growing in this country, and in this market, that being the USA, man, it grows the sport even more. So just think, it was estimated that this movie cost anywhere from $200 to $300 million to make the very first weekend. I saw reports that about $56 million domestically, another like 80 something million dollars internationally. I mean, they're going to do quite well. So Danny, I was excited to see this movie. A couple parts that could be left off, it was Hollywood.
Yeah.
But there was some great insight behind the scenes to the movie in terms, and I won't give it away, but some great insight behind the scenes. So I recommend it. Out of 5 bags of popcorn, man, I'm giving this thing 5 bags of popcorn. Maybe 4.5, maybe 4.75 bags. Couple kernels, unpopped kernels are in the bag there. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, good movie, a good summer movie to go watch. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.